The first step in the process is to put a little green Loctite around the seal, and using your arbor press, we're going to press it in until it bottoms out. You'll see that the top of the seal is flush with the little seat part that gets the bearing. We're going to use a large flat bar to first put pressure on and start the bearing, and then finish it off with the adapter that fits into the hole and press that down until it bottoms out on top of the seal. There's a retainer clip snap ring that gets put in to hold both of those in place. Then we're going to attach the cover to the build plate and bolt it down so that it's easy to torque later on. The next thing is to screw in the check valves that go into the front covers using the check valve installation tool. The check valves allow for leakage to go past the bushings for lubrication and then enter back into the pump, relieving pressure on the front seal. After they're installed, you're going to peen both openings so that they don't back themselves out. Now the backup seal has a beveled edge that goes down into the channel seal on your thrust plate. And since this is a counterclockwise facing pump or spinning pump, and the belly is towards the builder, the seals go on the right side of this pump. If it was the opposite, they would obviously go on the left side. We're going to install a little molly on top before the shaft goes in. The shaft, because of the seal, sometimes is hard to put in because the seal is not very flexible. So you might need a rubber mallet to pound the shaft down so that it's flush, sitting on top of the thrust plate. Then its partner can go in. So now you have a full gear set. Spin them to make sure nothing binds. We can install a set of dowel pins for alignment purposes in all of these parts. Just tap them in lightly with a hammer. There's a little air that gets trapped, and so they get a little bouncy. The next is the body seal. So we're going to put a small bead of moly on the seal and in the groove. This just helps keep the seal in the groove as you're building. Now you'll notice there's two pockets, a small and a large. And because this is a counterclockwise facing pump, the small pocket goes on the left side, because that is the pressure side. Use a rubber mallet to pound that down. It's flush. We're going to install the next set of dowel pegs, and then the next body seal goes in the groove, again with some moly to help keep that in during assembly. Some moly goes on the next thrust plate because it's going to attach to the gears. The bearing surface goes down. Again, the seals are on the right side. He's using his thumbs to make sure that the seal is pushed down and everything's flush. So the bearing carrier goes on. Notice again there's a small hole and a large hole, and the small hole is going to go onto the right side because this is a counterclockwise rotating pump, and that oil needs a pathway out. So that's your outlet port that we're looking at. Using his fingers to check to make sure that there's a path out from the gears. You can feel the gear set inside of there. Next thrust plate goes on for the next section of the pump. Again, it's counterclockwise, so the seals are on the right. More moly for lubrication of the next gear set. There's a connecting shaft that goes in. If we didn't put the connecting shaft in, the second section would not spin or pump. So that connects both sections and make them together. So the gear set gets installed on top. Make sure both are down, and then you can rotate with your fingers to make sure everything is going to spin. Again, another set of dowel pegs for alignment. These are important to not forget. Just keeps the sections aligned and together. The next body seal, some moly in the groove, moly on the body seal, again to help it stay in the groove while you're assembling. And notice again the small pocket and the large pocket. Small pocket goes on the right side because this is counterclockwise, so it's opposite of what it would be because we're looking at the back of the pump and not the front of the pump. Again, a rubber mallet to seat the sections together, more dowel pegs, and another body seal. The last thrust plate will go in next. We're going to put some moly on the bearing surface of the thrust plate, the side that's opposite of the seals. Again, the seals go on the right side. Sometimes it takes a little bit of finagling because it's a tight fit in there. And then using his fingers again, we're going to make sure that everything's flush and the seals are pushed in correctly. There's the rear cover. Again, there's two pockets, a large and a small. And so the small needs to go on the right. Now all of our pumps get extended studs. So he's measuring from the bottom of the pump to the nut, and you're going to add 1 1/4 inches. After you cut the studs, you're going to thread them in until you can feel the stud. Use an impact to tighten in an X pattern. And then using torque specs from the manual, you're going to torque in that same X pattern. The extended studs help for installation, so mounting purposes for brackets